Hey everyone, and welcome to the 4th episode in my tower defense game series on Scratch. Today I will be adding money and the wave system into the game. Let's hop right into it. As you can see here, I have 3 new sprites. One is named Money, one is named Wave, and one is named Message. Then in the Money sprite for costumes, I have all of the numbers. They're kind of hard to see because they're white, but if I change the color, there you go, it's gray. As you can see, I just have 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9. Then I have 0, and last but not least, I have just a coin sprite. And also for the costume names, I've named them according to whatever number they are. So for instance, 5 is named 5. Then in the wave, I just have a little indicator that says like, hey, there's enemies coming. And then another one of them that's the same one, except it just has a little box that says click to start wave. Then I have another box that says wave incoming and one that says a wave complete. So all of these are just little messages that will pop up to tell you that the waves are coming. In the money, I'm going to start by pulling out a when green flag clicked and then go to variables because we are going to need a few new variables. I want to just click make a new variable and I want to name this one money. This is going to be for all sprites. Then I want to click OK and make another variable and name this number. We can go ahead and just do for the sprite only. Make sure you do that, otherwise it won't work, and click OK. So now we have all the variables we need for this to work. So underneath this when green flag clicked, I want to go ahead and set the money in the very beginning to 500. Then I want to wait 0.1 seconds and then pull out a repeat 10 times, create a clone of myself, and then change that number by 1. So every single clone has its own specific number. Next I want to do show and then a switch costume to coin, a go to frontier, and then a go to block, and I want to make this go to -219 y159 and just click all this stuff. As you can see here, if we go ahead and just hide the number variable and move the money to the side, there's a little coin icon that pops up here. So that is working great. Okay, so next I want to do the number system because I want these clones to be created and switched to whatever this money variable is. So this little bit right here that I'm about to make is made by a guy named Warfame. So I'll link the video where he made the money counter in the description. So I'm going to do a when I start as a clone and then a set size to 100%. Next I will change this to 75% to make it a little bit smaller, and now I will do a forever loop and do go to front. Now it's in front of everything on the screen. So now I want to do a go to block, and this is what's going to make this whole thing work. So I want to do that for the sprite only number variable, and I want to do number go to operators and pull out a times block and do number times 15. Then I want to do -204. So what this is doing here is the 15 is just the space in between all of the letters, and the -204 is to make it go all the way to the left. I'll show you what that does in a second. I want to put that in the X, and then for the Y, I want to do 155 because that's going to be all the way at the top. Now I want to make it to switch to the right costume. So I want to do an if else here, and then a less than block. And then I want to do if number blank is less than number and put number on the right, pull out a money, and then pull out a length of. So the if length of money is less than number, then I want to hide. Else I want to show and then switch costume to pull out letter 1 of apple and do letter number of money. So it's just saying if length of the money is less than number, then we want to hide my costume. Otherwise switch to the right costume and go to the right position. And also in the beginning, I want to make sure to point in direction 90 here just in case, but as you can see here, it's not quite working. So what I want to do is make sure this is up top and do a show block here. Oh yeah, and also guys, we make sure to set in the very beginning, right above this, set that number to 1. So now as you can see here, look at that. The 500 actually shows there. And to show you what all these little numbers do, if we do like times 25 say, look how much space is in between the letters. If we do like times 1, they're almost on top of each other. So I like for my numbers 15. Then the minus, I have 204. If I were to do like 150, as you can see, that's just the positioning. But for me, I like 204. Now, as you can see, we have this go to front here. I'm going to move that to the very bottom and put that in a forever loop. So as you can see now, our layering is working properly and we have money. But not only that, if we double click this a couple times to change it to a slider, as you can see, this money switches to the right costume. If we're at 0, it'll do 0. It just matches whatever that is. You can go ahead and hide that money because we have the counter right there. Also, in the very beginning, do a go to front here. As you can see, the money kind of shows just half of the time. So all you need to do to fix this is go to level top and do go forward 1 layer instead of go to front. So as you can see here, all of the layering is working properly. The slimes should be behind here. There we go, they're behind there. The UI is in front of that, and the coin is in front of that. So now all we need to do is make it to where it costs money to buy this tower, and it will detect if we have enough money or not. So as you can see, if we hover over this, it says it's 200 gold. So I want to go into the towers here and make it actually match there. So I want to do an and, a greater than, and then an equals to. And I want to put money in both of these, money on the left. So if money is greater than 200 or it's equal to 200, then I want to be able to buy this. So you can go ahead and just do an and here and do if placing what is equal to arrow tower and put this in the and statement. So now you should be able to only place it if you have enough money. Okay, so as you can see here, this isn't working, and I think I figured out why. I was just silly. All you need to do is do money greater than 200 or it's equal to 200, not and. So make sure you do that. So now we can place towers as long as we have enough money, but it doesn't actually take the money away. To program this, just go ahead and find this plate archer tower, right click on it and click edit. Then add an input and name this cost. Then just click OK. So now I want to do a change and do change the money by cost. Then as you can see here, it adds a blank input for where we do the if mouse down, and because this is $200, I want to do -200 here. So now we can very easily change this cost. If we want to do -500, it'll work. So I'm going to do -200. We click on it and we place it down, and look at that. It actually takes away the money. And now we only have $100 and it won't let us click on this. And also, I'm sorry, I want to, in the very beginning, set the money to 200. That way you can only place down 1 archer tower in the very beginning of the level. Next, I want to do a little animation for when you get money. So let's go ahead and do when I receive and do money, a brand new when I receive. And then I want to do a new variable and name this clone with a question mark and do for the sprite only. So in the very beginning here, I want to, after this repeat, set that clone to no because the initial sprite is not a clone, and then set the clone to yes when I start as a clone because obviously the clone is a clone. The reason we're doing this is I want the clone and the initial sprite, which is the little icon here, to do a different animation. So I want to do if else and do if clone is equal to yes, which means we are a clone. Then I want to point in direction 90, set size to 75%. This is just resetting it to make sure that it's all good. Then a repeat 3 times, so change that to 3, and then a turn 5 degrees. So it's just kind of gonna tilt a little bit and change size by 1. So it's just gonna grow and tilt a little bit. Duplicate this top point and direction stuff and put it underneath there. So now you have the animation for the clones, but I want to also do an animation for the sprite. For the sprite, I want to do clear graphics effects, set size to 75%, then a repeat 2 times here, change size by 15. So this is just going to make it get much bigger. Then a change brightness effect by 7.5. So this is gonna get bright. Then duplicate all of that repeat stuff and do 3 here, change size by -10 and change brightness effect by -5. So that'll just make it have an animation and then duplicate the reset stuff. So there's the little animation. So as you can see here, if we hide this clone and we go ahead and play this game and broadcast money, look at that. It does a little animation, and the animations are separate for each sprite. The money sprite just kind of wiggles, and the actual sprite itself grows, as you can see, and it looks really cool. So that's going to play whenever we get some money. Here we have the little death script. As you can see, it's just saying if the enemy health is less than 1, do all that stuff. Go ahead and go into the costumes here, see the money in the money sprite, pull it into the enemies. So now the enemies has a coin sprite. So what I want it to do is basically when it dies, I want it to turn into a coin and fly towards this guy. So underneath here, I want to set the size to 50% so it's a lot smaller, and then switch costume to coin. Then clear graphics effects to make sure that there's nothing going on, and a go to front so it's in front of everything. Next, I want to point towards the money, which is this guy right here, and then we need to make a brand new variable for the sprite only and do coin speed. Very important that you make this for the sprite only. And now I want to set that coin speed right underneath the money to 0. Then I want to do a repeat until block and repeat until touching the money, move 10 steps, except I want to change this to move coin speed, and then change that coin speed by 2. So it's going to start slow and go faster and faster until it touches the coin. Then we're going to go ahead and change the money by 50, so that way we get some money from the kill, and then broadcast money so it does the animation. And we put that in the wrong one. Don't put it in the sand slime, put it here. And then last but not least, delete this clone. So that was the little animation there. So hopefully now, if we go ahead and take out one of these slimes, there should be an animation. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. We got some coins. We got a cool animation, and it actually animates. Watch this. Vroop, and it goes up there. So that is very awesome. Okay, so the wave system is a little bit more complicated. It takes a little bit more broadcasting. There's quite a few broadcasting messages, so just bear with me. I want to go into the wave here, pull out a when green flag clicked, and do a broadcast and name this play level. This is just going to launch us into whatever level it may be. It could be any level in the game. So this is just the one that's going to reset everything. So I want to go ahead and just do a hide here, and then a go to block and do x -64 and then y 170. So it's going to go to the right spot. Then I want to go ahead and duplicate this play level and just wait 1 second and broadcast next wave. So this is going to be actually starting the next wave. So we can just name that next wave because it kind of makes sense. Then I want to do when I receive next wave here, forever go to front. So basically what's happening here is we're broadcasting play level, so it's going to play the level, it's going to load all the screen stuff in, then it's going to broadcast the next wave, which is basically just saying, hey, I'm going to pop up as a message. It's not actually starting the enemy wave, it's just showing the costume. So that is going to be when I receive next wave. I want to set the size to 50% and then a show block here. Then a clear graphics effects, a wait 0.01 seconds here, then a point in direction 0. Next I want to do a little bit of an animation, so I'll do a forever loop and a repeat block here. Repeat 3 times, go into the motion, turn 18 degrees. Above that, I want to do change size by 20. Next, I change Y by -4 so it comes down, and that is good for that bit of the animation. Duplicate all of this stuff inside of here and do a 2 block here. Then change size by -5 and change Y by -2. So this is just going to make it slow down a little bit, like an ease out. Then I want to do if statement here and a touching mouse pointer. And actually, I'm sorry, we're going to make this an if else. So if I'm touching the mouse pointer, do something else, do something. So we're going to go into the UI and duplicate this change size by, because we're going to do the similar thing to where it shrinks down and gets bigger, all that stuff. So if we're touching the mouse pointer, then set size to 115. Otherwise, set it to 100% and take this divided by 4 on the else and divided by 1.5 on the if. So now, as you can see here, if we go Oh, whoa. Okay, I just forgot to do something. All you need to do is put a forever loop in here and then do an if touching mouse pointer like so. So just put the forever in the forever. So now as you can see, we have this animation and we can hover over it and do all that cool stuff. Next, I want to do an if touching right here and do if touching and then do, not if touching, I'm sorry, if mouse down, duplicate that, do a not if not mouse down and wait until. So if mouse down, wait until not mouse down. So that's just when we click and then let go. That way you can't hold it and then it'll glitch out. So then do a repeat 5 times, a change the ghost effect by 20 so it does a nice fade out, and a change Y by 1, so it's just going to float up. Then I want to do a stop other scripts and sprite underneath this repeat block, and last but not least, I will do a wait 4 seconds before it starts the wave. And we're going to pull out a broadcast, and this new message is going to be what actually starts the enemies coming in. So this is going to be the start wave. So that's going to be the one that actually starts it. In the enemies, we need to do a little bit of broadcasting stuff because we've changed up quite a bit of how we do it. In the beginning here, all of this stuff, take that out of the when green flag click. Then pull out a start wave, because that is going to only happen once we start the wave. Then go ahead and duplicate this whole entire thing and delete the end of it and change this to next wave. So this is just whenever we start a next wave, it's going to also reset everything. And then duplicate this one last time and do play level. So this is just when we first kind of start out, then do everything the exact same as the next wave, and you can, since you've done that, you can go ahead and delete all of this out of the start wave. The only thing we want to do in start wave is actually make the clones. So when I receive play level, do all the same things we do when I receive next wave. Then start wave is when we actually do the starting stuff. So hopefully now if we go ahead and play, as you can see, it's not spawning the enemies right away, and it won't spawn them until we click on this. It'll do the animation, and hopefully now it'll start the wave. There you go. As you can see, it's starting this wave. So how we want this game to work is every level there's multiple waves. So you have level 1 and maybe there's 2 waves. So you'll click to start the wave, you'll say you kill all of them, and then you click it again and it'll spawn the final wave. So to do this, we need to make a variable and name this total enemies on screen. Click OK. Set this variable to 0, duplicate this and put it on top of the play level and next wave. You want them to reset on both of those. And now I want to make another variable and name this current wave. So this is going to be the variable keeping track of whatever wave we are in. So then in the very beginning, I want to reset this current wave variable right here. Oh, not that, that's coin speed. Set the current wave to 0 and only do this in the play level. You do not want to do this in next wave. We only wanted to do when we very first start this, which is the play level. When I receive start wave, I want to change this current wave by 1. So every time when I receive the start wave, it's going to go to the next wave by changing this current wave by 1. Now I want to do an if else here and do if the current wave is equal to 1. So this is the very first wave. Then I want to set the total enemies on screen to 10. Hide. And I want to set this to 3. So that is going to be the total enemies on screen at that point. So on wave 1, there's going to be 3 enemies. So I'm going to repeat 3 times, wait 1 second, and then create an enemy sand slime. Then I want to do if that total enemies on screen is less than 1, which means we've killed all of them. Then I want to broadcast next wave like that. So it's just going to start the next wave, which will eventually loop back and do start wave again. So it'll change this current wave to number 2. So that means in the else statement here, I want to repeat 7 times, set that total enemies on screen here to 7, because we're going to repeat 7 times because I want the total to be 10. So 3 and 7 is 10. Set the total enemies on screen to 7, repeat 7, create clone of that stuff, and then do the same thing. And for now, we're just going to do stop all at the end. Don't do broadcast anything. And now to make this all work, I want to go ahead and whenever we delete this clone, which is right here, I want to go ahead and do right under here, change that total enemies on screen by -1 right here in the death script. So now, hopefully, when we start this, as you can see, so its current wave is equal to 1, and there's total enemies equals to 3. So there we go, we have 3 enemies total on our screen. There we go, it goes down a variable like so. As you can see, now it's 2, and after we get this one, it is now 1. Then hopefully, once we kill all this, it'll start the next wave sequence. So we take this one out, and boom. As you can see, it says click to start the next wave. Then I want to go ahead and, as you can see, it's kind of bugging out a little bit. It's shooting. We'll fix that later. But if we go ahead and click to start this next wave, as you can see, it starts the next wave. It sets the total enemies on screen to 7, and it sets the current wave to 3. So I'll have to go ahead and just find why that does it. But for now, this is a very crude starting point for our wave system. It is kind of bugging out though. So one of the things we can do to help fix some of the bugs is in the closest enemy, I want to put an and on all this if stuff. I want to put a if the enemy health is greater than 0 on there. So now, as you can see here, we can click to start this wave, and it sets the current wave to 1 is good. So this is working. We have 3 enemies on screen. We're shooting at them. Now we only have 2. Beautiful. And it also fixed that little bug where the arrow was going up and down. So it has to do with something with the distance enemy. I know that. Right here, all I want to do is above here, I want to set the distance enemy to 0 above all of this, and hopefully now it should be working a little bit better. So we start all this stuff. The arrow does shoot. I do know that. I have seen that, but there is a very easy fix for this, which we'll do in a second. But as you can see, it's shooting. The arrows are finally kind of working properly. We can do the current wave is 1. We keep shooting. There's 2 enemies on screen. And I'm kind of just going through here and bug fixing. And most likely you will have these bugs too. So you can follow along and try to fix these too. And a lot of it is just because this game is not completed yet. So there we go. We shoot it. Then we can start the next wave. And hopefully now the arrows will point towards the front enemy. There we go. As you can see, the arrows are pointing towards the front enemy again. Before they weren't doing that. So all you need to do is just set that distance enemy to 0 in the beginning. So the fix to it shooting when there's no enemies, thankfully, is pretty simple. So right here in the play level, I want to do a forever loop here and an if else statement, and then do total enemies on screen is greater than 0, because if it's 0, then that means there's no enemies on screen, so we shouldn't be shooting. So want to make a variable for all sprites and do shoot now with a question mark for all sprites, and set this shoot now if it's greater than 0 to yes, otherwise set it to no. Then in the towers, I want to only shoot if it's equal to yes. We have all this forever loop stuff where the point and arrow tower animation. All you need to do is put an if statement and do an equal sign and do if shoot now is equal to yes. So now if you put this in, make sure you put it around everything in there though. So now as you can see, if we place down a tower and shoot now is equal to no, it won't shoot, but as soon as there's enemies on the screen, it should set it to yes. There we go. As you can see, it sets it to yes, which is very, very good. And as you can see, there's no more shooting, and as soon as we click this wave and we start doing it, boom. So there we go. And just in case if there's any arrows left on screen after the enemies have been destroyed, do a when I start as a clone, a forever loop, then do an if and a less statement, and do the if the total enemies on screen is less than 1, which means there's none on screen, then delete this clone. So that's just going to kind of fix it up a little bit. For now, all we need to do is the message. Basically, all I want to do is when we click on this, it's going to say, hey, there's a wave incoming. And once we defeat a wave, it'll say wave completed. I want to do a when I receive and do new message and do start wave message like that. Then a switch costume to wave incoming. Next, do a show here and a clear graphics effects. Now do a point injection 45 degrees, a go to 16 for X and 185 for the Y like so, and a repeat 5 times. Then do a turn 9 degrees and a change Y by -1. Then wait 3 seconds here and a repeat 25 times. Change Y by 3. So this is just going to make it go off of the screen. Once again, go to looks and change the ghost effect by 5. Hide and do clear graphics effects. So this is just going to do the animation and duplicate all of this stuff and change this to when I receive new message and do wave complete. So then switch costume to wave complete and do all of that same stuff. Now I want to do a when I receive the start wave message, a forever loop here, and a go to front. And last but not least, duplicate this and do when I receive wave complete, do that also. Then in the enemy sprite underneath this next wave here, just broadcast wave complete on both of these. Inside of the wave sprite here at the very end where it says start wave, also do broadcast start wave message. Oh yeah, and also make sure to do a when green flag clicked hide here for the message. And also, I'm very sorry, just put this start wave message above the wait 4 seconds. So now it should be a little bit better time. So we click on this, it says wave incoming right away, so we're like, oh no, okay, so I need to place this down. It goes away, and boom, right away, it starts spawning them. Then if we go ahead and come on, we can do this, we can do it before they come. We only have enough money for one old tower. Then we keep on going, we keep on going. We shoot them again, we shoot them again, and then we shoot them one last time. It says wave complete, click to start the wave again, and then we click it and it says wave incoming. So yes, it is working. So this is very crude and it's not working super amazing, but we will keep refining it and tweaking it in future episodes. But I want to say thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this episode or it helped you out, and if it did, then make sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing. But anyways, this has been Owen, and I am out.